A woman complained that the shop owner was trying to scam her by asking for $3 million. She argued that a slime was worth at most $3,000. She accused the shop owner of knowing nothing about beast taming. The shop owner, who is our main protagonist, told her that this was no ordinary slime, and that $3 million was the absolute price for it. He even guaranteed that she would be satisfied with the purchase. She argued that it was only at the awakening tier. For the same price, she could buy a pet with star tier potential. He admitted that she was right, but he insisted that his slime was 1 billion times stronger than those star tier pets. He explained that the slime was a mutated pet with the devour talent. As long as it had enough resources, it could easily break through its level limit, let alone reach star tier. He even claimed that it could one day reach monarch tier. She asked why she should believe him. He assured her that she would understand once she tried it herself. At that moment, a woman walked into the shop and mocked that the young master of the Liu family had now resorted to scamming and deceiving people. Then she added that she almost forgot he had already been kicked out of the Liu family. He recognized her as Bai Yue and asked what she was doing there. She replied that she had simply come to check on her ex-boyfriend who didn't even possess a beast-taming talent. The customer was shocked that he was running a pet shop despite not having a beast-taming talent. The shop owner calmly replied that it didn't affect his ability to sell pets. She called him Lu Yu and said that someone like him, who lacked a beast-taming talent, should just live a normal life after being dumped by her. The customer immediately remarked that Yue was the classic vicious female supporting character seen in anime. She never expected someone like that to exist in real life. Yu replied that some people were naturally mean and bitter. He told her there was no need to lower herself to that level. Yue scowled when she heard him lecturing her. The customer quickly stopped their argument and pointed out that they would know whether the shop owner was scamming her if she simply tried the slime. She pointed at a slime and fed it a silver-grade ration. The slime immediately absorbed it. Then it suddenly leveled up. She was stunned when its potential jumped from Awakening Rank 5 all the way to Awakening Rank 9. It had even comprehended a water-type skill. Yue shouted that it was impossible. The customer was relieved that she hadn't listened to Yue. She told Yu that she had brought the upgrade ration herself, so he shouldn't charge her for that part. Yu immediately said that she had to be joking. Then he asked whether she would be paying by card or cash. She chose to pay by card. A persona inside the system immediately announced that the first pet beast had been sold. The beast taming space was now unlocked, and he had obtained an SSS rank talent called Dark Hell. The system added that any dark-type pet contracted by the host would receive enhanced attributes, and their potential would increase by 1 rank. He could also use Soul Link to greatly boost the growth rate of dark-type pets. After all these years, he finally possessed a beast-taming talent once again. 12 years ago. A young boy asked his aunt what she was doing. The woman was Xu Yaji, the wife of the current family head, Lu Tanfeng, and the one who had adopted Lu Yu. She coldly stated that if it weren't for his S-rank dragon-type talent origin, she would have never bothered raising an orphan like him. She asked if he really believed that his parents had died in an accident. His talent origin could help her son obtain dual S-rank talents and restore the Lu family's dragon-taming legacy, so she told him he should feel honored. She threw him to the ground and stepped on him. After taking away his talent origin, she told him to spend the rest of his life as a worthless piece of trash. At present, Lu Yu believed he would spend the rest of his life as a cripple guarding this small shop. He never expected that a few days ago, on his 18th birthday, he would awaken the mythical pet system. By selling pet cubs from the system shop as required, he could obtain talents, resources, points, and many other valuable rewards. For someone like him who already owned a pet shop, completing sales missions was not difficult at all. As for the humiliation and torture he suffered in the Liu family all those years ago, he swore that one day he would repay every bit of it in full. Back to the present. Yue warned the customer not to let Yu fool her. Yu was getting fed up and said that he had already tolerated her for long enough. She became nervous and warned him that if he laid a hand on her, she would call the police. He simply told her to get out of his shop. She refused and demanded that he bring out another mutated pet, claiming she would buy it. The system reminded him that there was still 1 pet left to sell that week. If he completed the task, he would receive an SSS grade reward. The system advised him not to miss this opportunity. For the system's sake, he decided to give Yue 1 more chance. Then he took out the mutated Emperor skeleton. The tiny skeleton appeared looking completely confused. Yue felt insulted. She had awakened a B-rank beast taming talent, yet he was trying to fool her with a piece of junk like that. Yu calmly explained that it was a mutated emperor skeleton. It was simply stored inside a small bottle. She argued that it was nothing more than a low-level necromancy-type pet and didn't look anything like an emperor. He countered that its talent was incredibly heaven-defying. He explained that as long as it kept killing, its potential could grow without limit and eventually evolve into the necromancer emperor. She scoffed and said he was talking nonsense because she had never heard of a pet that could grow infinitely. The customer told Yue that there was seriously something wrong with her. She was the one who demanded to buy a pet, yet every time the shop owner brought something out, she refused to believe him. Yu told the customer Shen to forget about it. Not everyone could recognize something valuable the moment they saw it. Yue became convinced that Yu had hired Shen, so she decided to call in a professional to expose their scam. Yue contacted manager Yang and asked him to come to the pet shop near the school's west gate. A truck soon arrived at the pet shop. A man stepped inside with a pet. The moment he saw the slime, it immediately caught his attention. He could tell at a glance that it was a rank 9 potential slime, capable of devouring resources to strengthen itself. The slime was a familiar type pet with the water attribute. It was at Awakening level 5 with Awakening rank 9 potential. Its talent allowed it to devour resources to strengthen itself, with a chance to further increase its potential rank. Yue waved at Manager Yang. Manager Yang apologized and admitted that he had zoned out for a moment. He brought the pet she had ordered and asked if she wanted to contract it. She replied that she wasn't ready yet, and showed him the skeleton instead. She then pointed at the lizard inside the glass cage and told everyone that it was what a true high-level pet looked like. Manager Yang immediately sensed that something was unusual about the little skeleton. He activated the Eye of Data and discovered that it possessed a special growth-type talent. As long as it continued killing, it could grow infinitely stronger. More importantly, it had not been contracted yet. He immediately asked Yu if it was for sale and declared that he was willing to pay any price for it. Yu was pleased to finally meet someone who knew what they were looking at. Yue couldn't believe it. Manager Yang was a transcendent tier beast tamer. She couldn't understand why he would spend 3 million on an Awakening rank 1 pet that looked like garbage. Manager Yang asked whether she doubted his Eye of Data. He explained that with its limitless growth talent, the skeleton had the potential to evolve into the Necromancer Emperor. She was shocked to learn that it truly was a mutated Emperor skeleton. Shen teased Yue and reminded her that she had already warned her. She added that with someone carrying that kind of pressure and looking like such a handsome manager, there was no way he would lie. Yue snapped and told her to shut up. She called Manager Yang an idiot for contracting a trash slime, insisting that she didn't need to argue with someone beneath her. Manager Yang explained that he had already checked the slime using his Eye of Data. He stated that the slime possessed the growth talent. It would not take long before it could completely crush beast tamers of the same level. From just an ordinary slime, it could evolve to something like this. Manager Yang immediately begged Yu to sell the skeleton to him. Yu replied that its price was fixed at 3 million. Deep down, Manager Yang couldn't believe it was only 3 million. To him, it felt like Yu was practically giving it away for free. Yang handed over his card and said he would remember this kindness for the rest of his life. Yu replied that he was being too polite. Yue was left completely stunned. Yue accused Yu of fooling her. She complained that he had such an amazing pet beast, but refused to sell it to her. Yu pointed out that she was the one who looked down on others with her snobbish attitude. She said she didn't care, and demanded that he bring out another mutated pet beast. He told her that he didn't have any more pet beasts, and there wouldn't be any more for her either. She immediately started insulting him. She called him a piece of trash without a beast-taming talent who had been kicked out of the Liu family and claimed he had no right to act so arrogant. Yu calmly revealed that he had already undergone a second awakening. Yang instantly felt a terrifying pressure radiating from him. He could tell that Yu's talent was at least A rank. Shen admired him because even though she was an A rank herself, she couldn't release that kind of pressure. She guessed that he must possess an S rank talent at the very least. He praised her for being smart. Internally, he felt that revealing an SSS rank talent would attract too much attention, so he simply admitted to having an S rank talent. The moment Yue heard that, her knees nearly gave out. She asked how it was possible for someone to experience a second awakening and obtain an S-rank talent. He replied that nothing was impossible in the world of beast taming. She suddenly declared that since he had reawakened his talent, she was willing to give him another chance to pursue her. He grinned and bluntly replied that he wasn't interested. Then he told her to leave immediately. That response made her call him a heartless bastard. He informed Yang and Shen that the shop was now closed. Shen quickly said that she wanted his contact information. Yang wanted it as well. Yu knew that Shen Nianian was a freshman at Beast Taming University, so she could bring in plenty of customers. As for Yang Qing, even though he worked in the same industry, Yu believed they could develop a business partnership. That way, he wouldn't have to worry about failing future system missions. He allowed both of them to scan his code. After that, he closed the shop. He was relieved that everyone had finally left. Then the system, appearing in the form of a woman, congratulated him on completing his first novice mission. She asked whether he wanted to open the system shop immediately. He told her to hurry up and open it. When he looked at the screen, he asked why there were so few options. She explained that those were all free rewards available to claim. In Yu's eyes, there was never anything truly valuable among free items, so he asked to see the paid section instead. She immediately displayed all the paid pet beasts. As he browsed through them, he rejected one because it was too ugly, while another simply didn't match his talent. As for the last option, the system asked whether he wanted to consider the Hellhound, a pet beast known for its terrifying attack power. He immediately declined because he had been bitten by a dog when he was young. She then showed him 3 dark-type pet beasts. Among them, he spotted a dragon-type pet and immediately redeemed the world-destroying demon dragon. The system confirmed that the pet beast cub cost 600 points, leaving him with 0 points remaining. The world-destroying demon dragon cub was now being dispatched, and he was instructed to accept the delivery. The dragon appeared right in front of him. Our MC couldn't believe that something this large was still considered a cub. The system explained that dragon-type creatures were naturally bigger than most pet beasts, so there was no need to worry. The information panel displayed the details of the world-destroying demon dragon. Although it was still a cub, it already possessed both the darkness and dragon attributes and was currently at Awakening Tier 1. Its potential had already reached Overlord Tier 10. The dragon also possessed 2 powerful skills. The first was Dark Intent, which allowed it to absorb the power of darkness and grow endlessly stronger. The second was Demon Blade Attraction, which enabled it to absorb the power of defeated enemies. By killing dragon-type creatures, it could even plunder their attributes and make them its own. Yu was thrilled when he learned that its starting potential had already reached Overlord Tier 10. A pet beast's potential determined its upper limit. Starting from the lowest rank, there were Awakening rank, Transcendent rank, Starry Sky rank, Crescent Moon rank, Radiant rank, Holy Spirit rank, Overlord rank, and Sovereign rank. Even the 3 strongest people in Ja country only possessed Sovereign rank pet beasts. Yet his very first contracted pet beast was already just 1 step away from that level. The system asked whether he was satisfied. He replied that he was more than satisfied. He wanted to form the contract immediately. A magic circle appeared in his hand, and the system confirmed that the contract had been successfully established. He could now use his talent to transmit energy directly to the pet beast. He immediately activated the infusion of dark power. The dragon let out a thunderous roar. The system congratulated him for successfully upgrading the pet beast to Awakening Tier 10. He asked the system why it couldn't break through to the next rank. She explained that his current beast taming space could not accommodate a pet beast above the Awakening rank. Yu immediately realized that he needed to improve his own strength as quickly as possible. He then asked the system whether it could make the demon dragon a little smaller. The system replied that it was possible, and that he simply needed to issue the command. The massive dragon instantly transformed into a small and adorable dragon. Yu was delighted because it would be much more convenient to carry around now. Meanwhile, at the dormitory, Nianian, also known as Shen, announced that she was back. She excitedly called for Royun to come over and look at her pet beast. Royun immediately lowered her voice when she saw that it was a slime. She told Nianian to put it away quickly and not let Chu Ying see it. But it was already too late. Chu Ying had arrived and had seen everything. Ying reminded Nianian that she had promised not to bring ornamental pet beasts back to the dorm. Royun quickly defended Nianian and said that she didn't do it on purpose. Nianian insisted that it wasn't an ornamental pet beast, so she hadn't broken any rules. Ying asked if she was really planning to contract a trash slime. Chu Ying was a beast tamer at Awakening Tier 10 and possessed a pet beast known as the Steel Wolf. The black-haired girl who arrived with Ying remarked that Nianian was probably not serious. After all, she had awakened an A-rank talent. She couldn't understand why Nianian would do something so foolish. Nianian informed them that the slime was a mutated pet beast with the ability to devour and grow stronger. Ying dismissed it as nonsense. She pointed out that a slime could grow to at most Tier 3, so she questioned what kind of growth Nianian was talking about. Nianian shouted that she had already contracted it, and it had already reached Awakening Tier 5. The black-haired girl told Nianian not to be ridiculous. Even if she poured a mountain of resources into it, a slime would never reach the transcendent rank. Ruoyun worried that someone might have scammed her. Nyanyan decided to prove it to them. She pointed out that Ying had spent millions nurturing those steel wolves. Ying replied that it didn't matter because her steel wolf already possessed awakening rank tier 9 potential. Nyanyan told them to watch carefully because the materials she was about to use were worth 1.2 million. She was ready to prove everything. The slime absorbed several red balls. Ying laughed at her and mocked her for not even knowing how to use resources properly. Ruo Yun, however, was shocked. She couldn't understand how the materials had been completely absorbed. The materials began swirling around the slime's body. The slime quickly reached awakening rank tier 5, then continued, rising all the way to awakening rank tier 10. Ruo Yun couldn't believe what she was seeing. Ying's face darkened as she carefully examined the slime. Nyanyan told them to keep watching because it wasn't over yet. Its potential had also increased. It had now reached at least the Starry Sky rank. Ying found it impossible to accept. She demanded to know how a mere slime could possess Starry Sky rank potential. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Unable to hold herself back any longer, she challenged Nyanyan to a fight. Moments later, they started their Pokemon battle. Ying called out her steel wolf and boasted about how tough it was. It immediately charged at the slime. Ying was shocked when the slime fired a spear of red water. She wondered if that was actually a transcendent rank skill. Her entire body trembled as she asked how such a thing was even possible. Her legs nearly gave out when she saw that her steel wolf had actually lost. Nyanyan stood over her and reminded her that this was the mutated pet beast she had looked down on. And for the sake of them being roommates, she said she wouldn't hold the incident against her. Ruoyun stopped her and quickly asked where she had bought the slime. Nyanyan suggested that they talk about it after they returned to their room. The next day, a man walked into the pet shop and wondered when a new pet shop had opened in the area. He noticed a pet beast that looked like a worm species. He thought it would make a great gift for his little sister. He asked how much it cost. Yu replied that it wasn't for sale because it was his contracted pet beast. The man insisted that money wasn't an issue and told him to name any price. Our MC was starting to get annoyed, but he politely repeated that it truly wasn't for sale. The man felt insulted by the rejection. He summoned his black feather crow to teach Yu a lesson. Yu immediately called him an idiot. The worm pet beast began releasing a terrifying dark aura. The aura instantly bound the crow and slammed it to the ground. At the same time, the man coughed up blood. He couldn't believe that his black feather crow had been defeated with nothing more than a single glance. He soon realized that the black aura had come from the dragon species. He was completely confused because not even the Lu family, the #1 beast-taming family, possessed a demon species. He quickly decided that leaving was the smartest option. He carefully turned around. Yu watched him run away and commented that the guy was boring. The man rushed to the hospital, where he ended up spending 5 million on treatment. He couldn't believe that a single glance had cost him 5 million in medical bills. While walking through the hospital, he accidentally bumped into someone and immediately got yelled at. The man demanded to know who they were calling a bastard. The person standing before him was the Luo family's young master, Luo Tianyan. The man was surprised to see his big brother and asked why he was there. Tianyan replied that he had come to find out who had made the Luo family lose so much face. The man quickly answered that they couldn't afford to provoke that person. Tianyan frowned. He couldn't believe that there was still someone the Luo family couldn't afford to offend. The man lowered his voice and revealed that the person was a beast tamer who had contracted a demon dragon species. Tianyan was stunned when he heard the words demon dragon species. Tianyan stated that a beast tamer capable of controlling a demon dragon had not appeared for many years. He immediately told Luo Ze to take him there at once. Ze warned him that even Tianyan might not be a match for that beast tamer, but Tianyan clarified that he wasn't going there to fight. He was going there to apologize. Z suddenly realized that his brother was much smarter than he was. Tianyan knew that almost all of Magic City's top beast tamers belonged to the Lu family. If the Lu family possessed a demon dragon species, there was no way they would keep it hidden. But anyone capable of controlling a demon dragon was likely still connected to the Lu family in some way. They soon arrived at the shop. Yu appeared at the entrance and asked Ze if he had brought backup because he couldn't beat him before. Tianyan immediately grabbed Ze and smacked him on the head, forcing him to bow as Tianyan apologized to Yu on behalf of the Luo family. Z also quickly apologized. Tianyan took something out of his pocket and told Yu that his younger brother had been blind and had offended him. As compensation, he had prepared a small gift and hoped you would be magnanimous enough to let the matter go. The gift was a platinum-rank space resource called the Space Taming Crystal. Yu's eyes immediately lit up when he saw the platinum-rank space expansion material. It made him wonder what kind of background Tianyan had. The gift had arrived at the perfect time because he had just been worrying about how to expand his beast taming space. Yu replied that it had only been a minor scuffle and that he had no interest in arguing with a child. He casually wrapped an arm around Tianyan's shoulder and remarked that, judging from his aura, he had recently broken through a realm and awakened a new pet beast slot. Tianyan praised his insight. He explained that a few days ago, he had broken through to the Fire-type Starry Sky rank and successfully unlocked his third pet beast slot. Yu exclaimed that it was quite the coincidence because he happened to have a Scarlet Flame chicken that perfectly matched Tianyan's talent, and it only cost 3 million. He asked if Tianyan was interested in buying it. The little chick immediately looked smug. After hearing that, Tianyan was already convinced to buy it. Z quietly whispered to him that this wasn't exactly the best way to spend their money. Yu asked whether they thought he was deliberately making things difficult for them. Tianyan quickly replied that he wouldn't dare. He simply couldn't understand the deeper meaning behind Yu recommending the Scarlet Flame chicken. Yu explained that he only did it because he appreciated Tianyan's sincere attitude. He revealed that the Scarlet Flame chicken possessed the ability to refine all flames and continuously raise its own potential. Tianyan was stunned when he heard that. He immediately asked if he could test it. He summoned Cold Flame, and was shocked to discover that the Scarlet Flame chicken showed absolutely no fear of his Cold Flame. The chicken swallowed the flame whole, and its aura instantly became much more fierce. Tianyan's jaw nearly hit the floor. He declared that this was no Scarlet Flame chicken. It was clearly a future Flame Emperor. Tianyan thanked Yu and said that the entire Luo family would remember this kindness. Yu replied that it was only a pet beast, so there was no need to be so grateful. Tianyan cautiously asked whether he had any connection to the Lu family, the strongest dragon-taming family. The moment he heard the words Lu family, Yu's expression darkened. He coldly replied that he had long since cut all ties with the Lu family. Seeing that reaction, Tianyan immediately realized that Yu held a deep grudge against the Lu family. They said their goodbyes to him. And it was finally time for Yu to use the Space Taming Crystal. He opened his beast taming space and broke through. The system announced that his beast taming space had expanded to 100,000 square meters, and its level had successfully advanced to Transcendent Tier 1. After reaching Transcendent Tier 1 simply by absorbing the space source power inside the Space Taming Crystal, Yu couldn't help but comment that it was truly an extravagant way to level up. Now, it was finally time for his dragon to break through as well. A brilliant golden light engulfed the world-destroying demon dragon. The system announced that his pet beast, the world-destroying demon dragon, had successfully advanced to Transcendent Level 1. It could now comprehend the Red Star rank skill, Dragon-Slaying Demon Soul, which allowed it to devour dragon-type pet beasts and obtain the power of soul-destroying dragon slaying. In addition, the dragon had awakened the Dark Demon Dragon Blood Soul, gaining even greater soul-destroying dragon-slaying power. With both the beast-taming space and the dragon advancing into the transcendent rank, their strength had risen to an entirely new level. The dragon let out a thunderous roar that shook the surroundings. Yu grinned and assured his pet beast that it would be eating real dragon meat very soon. It was a quiet morning at the mythical pet shop. Yu was on the phone, asking whether the slime's leveling progress was going smoothly. Nianyan reported that the slime had already reached Awakening Tier 10, and its potential had climbed to Starry Sky Rank Tier 9. She also shared that Yang had actually closed his shop so he could focus on nurturing the little skeleton. In another setting, a chicken ran for its life. Yang watched as the little skeleton chased after it. After only 10 days of killing chickens, its strength had already reached Transcendent Rank Tier 3. Piles of dressed chickens were stacked beside him. An elderly butcher commented that young people worked incredibly fast these days. A young man replied that it was only natural since Yang was a Transcendent Rank beast to mare. Another worker joked that after killing 100,000 chickens in just 2 days, even the chickens would start calling him Yama. Yang informed them that it was his final day of killing chickens. A young man asked whether he had finally realized that working in a slaughterhouse was a waste of talent for a Transcendent Rank beast to mare. Yang shook his head and replied that he was preparing to move on to killing pigs. Once he killed enough pigs, he would qualify for a slaughtering certificate and be able to enter a higher-level slaughterhouse. There were countless Awakening Rank and even Transcendent Rank fierce beasts waiting to be slaughtered there. He confidently declared that by then, the little skeleton could reach Starry Sky Rank strength, or perhaps even surpass the starry sky rank entirely. When Yu heard this, he burst out laughing and said that Yang's method was simply too overpowered. He admitted that the slaughterhouse was the perfect environment for the little skeleton. It could build up its killing intent while using sheer quantity to make up for quality. Yu even stated that it was entirely possible for Yang to become a Radiant Sun rank beast tamer in the future. Right at that moment, Yang sent him a text message saying that the little skeleton had successfully reached Transcendent rank Tier 3. He also mentioned that a customer had contacted him, and he had recommended they visit the Divine Dragon shop. Yu was delighted to hear that because he had been short on customers lately. Just a second later, Tianyan also sent him a message. He explained that his younger sister had just awakened her beast-taming talent and that he planned to bring her to the shop. He asked whether that would be all right, and Yu immediately replied, yes. Yu leaned back in his chair and took a sip of coffee while the little dragon rested comfortably on his lap. He gently told the little dragon to be patient. Soon he would find a way to expand the beast-taming space and help it break through again. Just then, someone walked into the shop. Yu immediately perked up when someone entered the shop. He thought business wasn't doing too badly after all. The person who entered was Jiang Shourong, the manager of the Jiang family, one of the prominent families in Magic City. As he looked around, Shourong wondered what valuable things a rundown little shop like this could possibly have. He told Yu that Yang had recommended the shop, claiming that the pet beasts here were the best. Yu humbly replied that he wouldn't go as far as calling them the best, but his shop only dealt in high-end pet beasts. Shourong scoffed and called him arrogant. In his eyes, there was no way such a tiny shop could possibly sell high-end pet beasts. Yu could only let out an awkward laugh. Shourong told him to stop wasting time and bring out these so-called high-end pet beasts so he could broaden his horizons. Yu took out a pet beast. It was a small goblin sitting inside a cage. He was just about to introduce the goblin. But Shourong immediately interrupted him and complained that it was only a low-level goblin. He couldn't believe Yu dared to call something like that a high-end pet beast. Shourong stated that if Yu had actually shown him something worthwhile, he might have introduced him to the Jiang family of Magic City. He declared that Yu had been given a chance, yet he turned out to be completely useless. He even threatened to shut the shop down within 3 days. Yu was starting to lose his patience. Just then, another person entered and asked about the Jiang family. It was a young girl with pigtails. She casually remarked that the Jiang family certainly carried a lot of prestige. Tianyan had arrived alongside her. Shourong was stunned when he saw them. He immediately asked whether they had also come to buy pet beasts. Then a realization hit him. He assumed that the shop must be backed by the Luo family. The Jiang family's businesses relied heavily on the Luo family's support, so he instantly realized that he was in serious trouble. The young woman walked right past him. Tianyan respectfully bowed to Yu and greeted him. The young lady immediately blushed when she saw how handsome Yu was. Shourong couldn't understand it. Yu looked barely old enough to be an adult, yet Tianyan was addressing him as a senior. Tianyan immediately yelled at him to shut up. At that moment, Shourong knew he was finished. Offending someone connected to the Luo family was the last thing he wanted. Tianyan introduced his younger sister, Luo Jingqing. Yu acknowledged her introduction and agreed to call her Jingqing, just as she requested. The goblin couldn't be refunded once exchanged. If he failed to earn even a single cent that week, he wouldn't be able to help the world-destroying demon dragon break through. Tianyan noticed that Yu seemed troubled by something. He guessed that it was because he hadn't managed to sell the latest pet beast. He immediately asked whether the goblin was for sale because he was willing to buy it. Jingqing pointed out that he hadn't even asked about its abilities yet. Tianyan replied that he didn't need to. He trusted Yu's judgment completely. Since they were interested in buying it, Yu decided to give them a detailed introduction. Yu explained that the goblin could continuously gain aptitude and strength by producing offspring. The stronger the goblin became, the higher the chance that its offspring would be born with exceptional talent and potential. With this endless cycle, an entire powerful race could eventually be created. The moment Shourong heard that, he realized he had just missed out on a heaven-sent pet beast. Tianyan immediately pleaded with Yu to sell it to them. In Tianyan's mind, the 3 great dragon-taming families had become powerful because they relied on giant dragon species. When he compared that to the goblin's breeding ability, he could already see the Luo family's rise on the horizon. As far as Yu was concerned, it didn't matter who bought the pet beast. He agreed to sell it, but reminded them that a beast tamer needed to form a contract with it immediately. Then he asked whether Tianyan already had someone in mind. He added that a beautiful young lady paired with a goblin would look a little strange. Tianyan replied that he already had the perfect candidate. He explained that the person he had in mind was the illegitimate son of the previous family head. His mother had been secretly executed by the current family head's legal wife. He further revealed that he was the one who had given that person a chance to return to the Luo family, so there was no possibility of betrayal. Xiurong was horrified. He had just heard something he definitely wasn't supposed to hear. What shocked him even more was how casually Tianyan spoke about it in front of Yu. Tianyan immediately shot him a cold glare. Xiurong instantly pretended that he couldn't see anything. Tianyan briefly considered silencing him permanently. Xiurong quickly acted both blind and deaf, repeatedly insisting that he was already a useless person. Tianyan warned him to treat this as a lesson. He told him to go back and watch his tongue. If he heard even a single rumor about this matter, Xiurong immediately swore that from this day forward, he was completely mute. Yu found the whole scene amusing. In his opinion, Xiaorong had reacted fast enough to save his own life. Jingqing quickly complained that it was her turn now, since Tianyan had already arranged for Luo Wen to contract the goblin. She pouted and said that she wanted a powerful pet beast too. Tianyan told her not to worry because Senior Yu would definitely find a pet beast that suited her even better. The moment she heard that there might be an even stronger pet beast available, her eyes lit up with excitement. She moved closer to Yu and eagerly asked whether he had a pet beast suitable for her. She explained that she possessed an A-rank beast taming talent called Ice Soul, and wanted an ice-type pet beast cub that was just as powerful as her brother's Scarlet Flame chicken. Yu replied that he did. He had already picked out something that suited her perfectly. It was an ice fox. She immediately asked whether the ice fox could refine exotic ice. Yu praised her for being smart and explained that the ice fox could absorb exotic ice and grow endlessly stronger. He urged her to come over and try it for herself. She infused it with a strand of Ice Soul energy, and was shocked to see the ice fox successfully refine the power of the Ice Soul. Its pure white fur instantly gained a faint blue tint. She excitedly asked how much it cost and declared that even if it were worth 100 million, it would still be a bargain. Yu replied that the price was the same as before, meaning it was only 3 million. Tianyan informed him that 6 million had already been transferred to his account. He thanked Yu for taking such good care of the Luo family. Yu simply replied, "You're welcome." Just then, his dragon suddenly let out a low roar. Yu's attention immediately shifted toward the outside of the shop. The street outside looked completely empty, but he could clearly sense the aura of a giant dragon lurking nearby. A faint smile appeared on his face as he admitted that whoever it was had hidden themselves quite well. At that moment, he realized that the Lu family had finally made their move, at a massive estate. A giant dragon rested peacefully in the garden. A servant arrived and informed someone that the mistress was looking for him. The mistress reminded him that she had ordered him to keep an eye on that bastard Yu, and also locate the money that Yu's parents had hidden all those years ago. So many years had passed, yet it seemed he still hadn't found a single clue. The man immediately dropped to one knee and reported that there had been a new development involving Yu. That, instantly, caught her attention. He reported that Yu had reawakened his beast-taming talent and had even contracted a black dragon. She was stunned by the news. After all, his talent had already been extracted. She couldn't understand how he had managed to become a beast tamer again. At that moment, she decided that Yu could no longer be allowed to live. Her subordinate immediately understood what she meant. Meanwhile, back to our MC. The system informed the host that he had unlocked an achievement for successfully selling a total of 5 pet beast cubs. As a reward, he would receive 1 random SSS rank beast taming talent. The system asked our boy if he would like to claim it now. Yu became excited when he heard that he was about to obtain another SSS rank beast taming talent. He immediately claimed the reward. The system congratulated him for awakening the SSS rank beast taming talent, God-slaying heavenly fire. Right at that moment, still inside the shop, a terrifying pressure suddenly filled the area. Tianyan and Jingqing instantly dropped to their knees under the overwhelming force. From the intense sense of suppression alone, Tianyan guessed that Yu had awakened a new fire-type beast taming talent. He knew that an S-rank talent couldn't possibly produce such a frightening aura. A shocking thought appeared in his mind. Yu might actually possess the legendary SSS rank talent. Yu looked at them in confusion and asked why they had suddenly knelt down. Tianyan awkwardly admitted that his legs had suddenly gone weak and he couldn't stand. He immediately started saying his goodbyes, claiming that it was getting late. Jingqing complained that she wanted to stay a little longer. But Tianyan gently grabbed her and told her to stop fooling around and come home immediately. The shop finally closed after they left. But before long, someone arrived riding a green dragon and loudly called for Yu to come out and accept his death. Yu chuckled and commented that this man had ignored the road to heaven and instead forced his way through the gates of hell. The man frowned and called Yu arrogant. He declared that allowing him to live until now had already been an act of mercy. Yu coldly replied that he had stayed alive for one reason only: to take revenge, back then, at the estate. The young Yu begged a man he called Uncle D to save him because the family head wanted to strip away his talent, but instead of helping him, the man punched the young boy. He declared that having his talent noticed by the family head and sacrificing everything for the young master was an honor. Yu desperately shouted that he didn't want to give it up, but Uncle D grabbed him and dragged him before the mistress. The young Yu screamed and begged them not to take it because it was his talent, but the mistress coldly declared that he had no right to decide. Then she ordered them to begin. Uncle D didn't hesitate for even a second. He stepped directly on Yu's foot. Yu begged him to stop, but Uncle D stepped on his hand as well and complained that all the screaming was annoying. Yu's painful screams echoed throughout the entire estate. Hengda scoffed at the idea of Yu reawakening as a beast tamer. He declared that Yu would be facing the entire Lu family. Yu calmly asked him who he thought he was. The question instantly enraged Hengda. He shouted that a piece of trash like Yu had no right to talk so boldly. Yu's dragon let out a powerful roar. Hengda laughed when he saw that the so-called dragon was still so young. He found it amusing that a piece of trash had managed to contract a member of the dragon race. He mocked that Yu's dragon looked like it had been forced to start working before even reaching adulthood. He confidently claimed that it wouldn't be able to withstand even a single attack from his Gale dragon. He immediately ordered his dragon to unleash a hurricane. The Gale dragon roared and released a violent hurricane. Yu and his dragon simply watched it approach. The attack was about to hit them. Hengda sneered and said that Yu's dragon was, at best, a transcendent rank tier 10 young dragon. Yet he still dared to challenge him. But in the next moment, Yu's dragon suddenly grew larger and casually swept its wings. The hurricane was instantly blown away. Yu remained completely protected behind his dragon. He looked at Hengda and asked if that was all he had. Then he coldly declared that Hengda had already chosen death the moment he came here. His dragon let out another earth-shaking roar. Hengda's body trembled. He refused to believe he could lose. After all, his dragon had already reached Starry Sky rank tier 10. Yu replied that Hengda's Gale Wyvern wasn't even worthy of becoming a snack for his dragon. Then he activated the dragon domain. Black mist surged across the battlefield. Hengda's eyes widened as he demanded to know how Yu possessed a dragon domain. That was a power that only true dragon species and demon dragon species could master. Yu revealed that his pet beast belonged to a demon dragon species. He declared that this was the world-destroying demon dragon, the future monster that would feast upon the Lu family's giant dragons. His dragon opened its mouth and breathed fire. Hengda's expression immediately changed. A rain of destructive flames crashed down upon him and his dragon. When the attack ended, both Hengda and the Gale dragon were left heavily injured, and both of them crashed to the ground. Hengda couldn't believe what had just happened. He struggled to get back up, but Yu stepped on his hand. Yu asked him how it felt to be stepped on by a piece of trash. He had wanted to do this ever since the day Hengda stepped on him when he was a child. Hengda desperately begged for mercy. He pleaded with Yu to spare him for the sake of the care he had supposedly shown him while raising him. Yu coldly asked what care he was talking about. He grabbed Hengda by the head and forced him to look. Yu's dragon clamped its jaws around the Gale dragon and devoured it. After swallowing its prey, the dragon let out a satisfied roar. Hengda cried out in despair for his Gale dragon. He begged Yu to spare his life and promised that he would do anything he asked. Yu remained completely unmoved. He stared down at him and told him to go repent in hell. Yu's dragon slowly approached him and brought its foot down on him. Blood splattered across the ground. Yu praised his world-destroying demon dragon for a job well done. The system congratulated him for defeating a beast tamer enemy. As a reward, he received a red star rank resource. It was a demon heart that contained the lifelong insights of a demon lord. When used on a dark-type pet beast, the demon heart could upgrade one of its skills to the red star rank. In addition, Yu received 900 points and unlocked the ability to contract a second pet beast. Yu carefully considered his options, and since his second talent was God-slaying heavenly fire, he already knew exactly what he wanted. He immediately claimed his chosen pet beast. It was the Purple Flame Emperor bird. Its current level was Awakening rank tier 1, while its potential had already reached Holy Spirit rank tier 10. Its attribute was fire, and it was currently at Awakening rank tier 1. One of its talents was Flame Spirit, which allowed it to remain eternally immortal as long as even a single wisp of its flame spirit survived. Its second talent was Lord of Fire, allowing it to absorb all fire-type resources and make them its own. Its final talent was Emperor's Blood, which caused any pet beast with lower potential than the Purple Flame Emperor bird to suffer bloodline suppression. You couldn't help but exclaim that its aura was overwhelmingly powerful. It looked incredibly majestic, just as expected from a pet beast with Holy Spirit rank Tier 10 potential. He remembered that even Ji Country's Guardian Divine Dragon possessed only Holy Spirit rank potential. And across the entire Blue Star, there were only 6 Guardian Divine beasts at the Holy Spirit rank. You knew that once this pet beast fully matured, it would undoubtedly surpass Xia Country's Guardian Divine Dragon. He immediately formed a contract with it. A brilliant light enveloped the Purple Flame Emperor bird. Then you suddenly remembered something. He immediately made the Purple Flame Emperor bird smaller so it would be easier to carry around. He stated that with these 2 powerful pet beasts, he was one step closer to taking revenge on the Lu family. The world-destroying demon dragon deliberately turned its back on him. You told it to stop being petty. He promised that once he sold the final pet beast of the week, he would upgrade its bloodline potential. The Purple Flame Emperor bird suddenly chirped as it noticed something, and then it flew away. It landed beside the world-destroying demon dragon, and excitedly flapped its tiny wings in front of it as if it were trying to communicate. Its adorable behavior instantly struck the world-destroying demon dragon right in the heart. The world-destroying demon dragon completely fell in love with the little bird. Deep down, you couldn't help but think that beauty really could lead a dragon astray. You then brought out something for the world-destroying demon dragon. By consuming the demon heart, its level would increase and breaking through to Holy Spirit rank Tier 1 would be one step closer. The dragon let out an excited roar and swallowed the demon heart. Judging by its reaction, it clearly didn't taste very good. You told it to slow down because the demon heart contained far too many dark and tyrannical emotions. The dragon immediately started whimpering. You lectured it that eating too quickly would only lead to indigestion. He told it not to rush, and began helping it refine the energy using his spiritual power. His spiritual energy wrapped around the dragon. When the refinement was complete, you instructed it to absorb the purified energy. The dragon released a thunderous roar. Then the system congratulated you. The world-destroying demon dragon had successfully absorbed the demon heart, and one of its pet beast skills had evolved. It had obtained the Red Star rank skill Evil Demon Dragon Eyes, allowing a single glance to annihilate a target's divine soul while inflicting powerful mental pollution. In addition, its demon dragon body had also reached the Red Star rank, granting it overwhelming defense against all physical attacks. A bright light suddenly flashed. The world-destroying demon dragon shrank down and started talking. It proudly declared that it was already invincible and that the Purple Flame Emperor bird should worship it. Then it immediately snuggled up against you and told him that the demon heart was delicious, so it wanted more. You replied that the demon heart was a rare treasure, not some ordinary snack. After that, his attention shifted elsewhere. He looked at the large puddle of blood on the ground and remembered that he still had to clean up the mess. He complained that it was such a hassle. You made a phone call and casually informed someone that he had played around a little at the entrance of the shop and that the ground had gotten slightly dirty. He asked them to come over and clean it up. He admitted that things were only a little messy. Tianyan arrived and immediately saw the massive pool of blood. His face turned pale. He couldn't believe that you had described this as only a little messy. He carefully inspected the blood and quickly identified it as the blood of a giant dragon species. There were also traces of wind blade attacks around the area. Based on the clues, he suspected it had belonged to a Gale dragon. The Lu family was the only family capable of contracting dragon race pet beasts on that scale. This completely confirmed his suspicion that you held deep grudges against the Lu family. What shocked him even more was realizing that the battle had been completely one-sided. He quickly assigned the cleanup work to his subordinates. Before long, the entire area was spotless, after a few more hours at the Luo family estate. When Tianyan returned, a staff member immediately approached him and reported that the young lady was throwing a tantrum again. Jingqing stormed out of the house and called Tianyan crazy. She was furious that he had taken so many resources and invested them into the goblin's breeding program. She argued that pet beast breeding success rates were extremely low, making the entire plan far too risky. Tianyan replied that the special goblin could eventually produce an entire clan, and the day he became the family head would be the day that clan became the foundation of the Luo family. Jingqing complained that he was so focused on the goblin that he was neglecting her little ice fox. He assured her that he had already prepared the best resources for both the ice fox and the scarlet flame chicken to help them grow stronger. As if on cue, a staff member arrived carrying all the resources he had exchanged for. Jing Qing's eyes immediately lit up. There were treasures everywhere. She excitedly exclaimed that her big brother was truly generous. She nearly drooled when she spotted the Crimson Heart Earthfire and the Purple Mystic Extreme Ice. Tianyan quickly warned her to be careful because those resources were intended as a gift for you, and he wanted her to personally deliver them. Jing Qing immediately pouted and complained that not only had he taken resources for himself, but now he was also making her run errands. She declared that it was completely unfair and threatened to complain directly to you. Moments later, she arrived at the mythical pet beast shop. As she walked inside, she muttered that she never expected her big brother to be so far-sighted. Earlier, she couldn't believe he was willing to give away such priceless treasures. Tianyan had explained that if it weren't for you, his own talent would have limited him to the sovereign rank for the rest of his life. But now that he possessed the Scarlet Flame Chicken, not only could he reach the peak of the sovereign rank, but he even had a chance to break through into the Overlord rank. After hearing that, Jing Qing thought that if she built a good relationship with you as well, she might one day reach the Overlord rank herself. She pushed open the door and cheerfully announced that she had arrived. She informed you that the Crimson Heart Earthfire and Purple Mystic Extreme Ice were small tokens of appreciation from the Luo family and hoped he would accept them. Yu was surprised because Tianyan had already helped him clean up the mess from yesterday, and he hadn't even had the chance to properly thank him yet. Jing Qing replied that it was nothing. After all, the pet beasts Yu had sold them not only grew stronger themselves, but could also improve a beast tamer's talent. Compared to that, these gifts were nothing. That statement made our MC realize that the pet beast in the system shop actually has those kinds of effects. Hearing that, Yu decided not to be polite and accepted the gifts. After handing everything over, Jing Qing said her goodbyes. Yu immediately thought that the Crimson Heart Earthfire would be extremely useful for the Purple Flame Emperor bird. He summoned it and handed the crystal over. The Purple Flame Emperor bird happily accepted the treasure. Yu was shocked when it immediately began breaking through. The little bird returned to its original form. Then it let out a loud and majestic screech that echoed throughout the area. The system announced that the Purple Flame Emperor bird had successfully comprehended the Red Star rank skill, True Body of the Flame Bird. The skill greatly increased both the quantity and power of the flames it could unleash. Yu was impressed that its very first breakthrough had already granted a Red Star rank skill. He realized once again that pet beasts redeemed with points were far stronger than the free ones. Meanwhile, at Magic City Beast Taming University, the hallways were unusually quiet. Inside a classroom, a female teacher told the students that they only needed to remember 3 words: strength reigns supreme. This teacher was Liu Luochan, a Dark Moon rank Tier 6 beast tamer. She asked the class which of them had confidence in their own strength. She encouraged anyone interested to come to the front and help with today's lesson. The male students were completely captivated by her beauty, and many immediately volunteered. Luochan clarified that coming to the front meant participating in a pet beast battle. She selected 2 students. One of them was Ruoyun. The other was a male student. Several students immediately recognized Ruoyun as one of the 4 great campus belles. Everyone knew she possessed a support-type talent and had a future so bright that it made others jealous. The other student was Yan Xiaopeng. He had contracted a Mad Blade werewolf, a pet beast famous for its terrifying offensive power. On the other hand, this girl only has a support-type beast. It doesn't even have damage skills. She worried for her beast because it might just get pinned to the ground. Nianian laughed and joked that Ruoyun's poor moonlight butterfly was about to get beaten all the way back into a green cotton bug. Ruoyun complained that everyone seemed to enjoy watching her suffer. She urged Nianian to hurry up and help her think of a solution. Nianian replied that if Ruoyun said a few nice words, she might consider stepping in and fighting for her. So Ruoyun immediately started buttering Nianian up and begged her for help. Nianian confidently replied that it would be a piece of cake. The students became excited when they saw another beauty stepping onto the stage. Nianian explained to the teacher that Ruoyun was a support-type beast tamer and wasn't suited for one-on-one battles. She asked whether she could take Ruoyun's place. The teacher agreed, but she also asked Xiaopeng if he was willing to accept the change. Xiaopeng casually replied that it didn't matter, because no matter who his opponent was, he was going to win. Nianian then called out her slime. Everyone was stunned when they saw that Nianian had summoned a slime. In their eyes, it was nothing more than a low-level pet beast that would get beaten into a pulp. The teacher asked Nianian if she was certain that she wanted to use a slime in battle. Xiaopeng pointed out that the life and death of pet beasts in combat were left to fate. And if the slime died, he wouldn't be paying any compensation. One of Nianian's admirers was immediately annoyed by his attitude. The girl standing beside him muttered that no matter how pretty Nianian was, without strength, she was nothing more than a flower vase. Ruoyun quickly shouted at them not to underestimate Nianian's slime. The girl replied that no matter how powerful a slime became, it could only reach Awakening rank Tier 3. Ruoyun simply told her to keep watching. Nianian confidently declared that she was about to teach Xiaopeng a lesson for looking down on her pet beast. Xiaopeng found the statement completely ridiculous. He summoned his Mad Blade werewolf. Both sides prepared for battle. It was now Xiaopeng versus Nianian. The Mad Blade werewolf let out a fierce roar. Then it charged straight toward the slime. Nianian scoffed. Her slime immediately used water blue silk. Xiaopeng looked down on the attack because it was only a gold rank skill. He confidently ordered his Mad Blade werewolf to charge forward. Streams of water splashed toward the Mad Blade werewolf. Xiaopeng declared that against a transcendent rank pet beast, they only had one fate: death. The Mad Blade werewolf swung the blades on both of its arms and attempted to close the distance with the slime. The students were impressed by its speed and momentum. The slime quickly restrained the Mad Blade werewolf. But Xiaopeng remained confident. He believed the slime wouldn't be able to hold the werewolf for long. Then a male student in the audience suddenly pointed out that something was wrong with the Mad Blade werewolf. The girl beside him thought her eyes were deceiving her because she could clearly see the Mad Blade werewolf coughing up blood. The Mad Blade werewolf let out a painful whimper and collapsed to the ground. Xiaopeng couldn't believe what he was seeing. Meanwhile, Nianian wore a smug smile as if she had finally proven everyone wrong. Xiaopeng's face turned pale. He simply couldn't accept that he had been defeated by a slime. He demanded to know how this had happened. Nianian replied that the world of pet beasts was filled with endless possibilities. She repeated the words Yu had once told her, that even a slime could one day beat a giant dragon. Everyone was stunned into silence. Her fans instantly became excited after hearing just a few words from her. One of the girls in the crowd couldn't stop wondering how Nianian had raised her pet beast. She desperately wanted to know what nurturing resources she had used. Ruoyun hurried over to Nianian with excitement written all over her face. She exclaimed that she knew Nianian could do it. Nianian casually replied that it had been a piece of cake. Meanwhile, Xiaopeng desperately tried to wake up his Mad Blade werewolf. Ruoyun stepped forward and offered to help treat his pet beast. Xiaopeng immediately thanked her and apologized for causing trouble. Nianian quickly reminded him that Ruoyun's healing services were extremely expensive, so he was getting a huge bargain. Ruoyun smiled and replied that it was fine since they were all classmates. She instructed her Moonlight Butterfly to use Holy Brilliance. The butterfly released a shower of sparkling dust that gently covered the werewolf. Xiaopeng's jaw dropped when he saw how quickly the Mad Blade werewolf recovered. He immediately realized that the healing skill had reached the gold rank. Even the teacher was surprised. She asked whether the butterfly was a White Moon butterfly with Hollow Moon rank potential. But she knew that White Moon butterflies had long since gone extinct. Ruoyun quickly explained that it wasn't a White Moon butterfly. It was actually a moonlight butterfly that had evolved from a green cotton bug. Luochan was stunned when she heard that. She immediately realized that an expert had likely helped behind the scenes. She told Ruoyun to visit her office after class. Later that day, she stated that, just as Nianian had said, beast taming was filled with endless possibilities. Whether it was a slime, defeating a Mad Blade werewolf, or a green cotton bug evolving into a moonlight butterfly, anything was possible. Ruoyun nodded in agreement. Luochan continued by saying that none of those miracles could happen without exceptional nurturing methods. She added that hundreds of thousands of years ago, there was once a profession that had pushed beast taming and breeding to their absolute peak. Nianian was surprised because she had never heard of such a thing. Luochan continued her explanation and said that this ancient profession was known as a breeder. According to legend, a truly exceptional breeder could nurture even a loach into a giant dragon. Ruoyun immediately exclaimed that the claim sounded exaggerated. Nianian told her that she should attend history classes with her more often because they had already covered that topic. She added that it was a shame because becoming a breeder required extraordinary talent, and the profession had gradually been lost to time. Those words immediately made Ruoyun think of the shopkeeper from the mythical pet shop. Luochan became curious when she heard that. Nianian explained that they were talking about the owner of the mythical pet shop. She revealed that both the slime and the green cotton bug capable of evolving had been purchased there. Luochan immediately became interested in visiting the shop herself. Deep down, she suspected that the mysterious shopkeeper was the expert operating behind the scenes. The next day, we see a luxurious car sped down the road. When it arrived at its destination, a woman stepped out. she headed straight toward the mythical pet beast shop. After checking the address, she concluded that she had come to the right place. Meanwhile, inside the shop, Yu was muttering to himself about how the purple flame emperor bird had already broken through dozens of tiers within the transcendent rank. The world-destroying demon dragon immediately protested, claiming that one day it would become even stronger than her. Just then, Luo-chan entered the shop and called out for the manager. Our MC's beast quickly got alerted and released its aura. Luo-chan was instantly shocked when her body suddenly froze in place. Yu quickly apologized for startling her and explained that his pet beast still couldn't fully control the power of its newly awakened talent. She was surprised to learn that the overwhelming pressure she felt was actually coming from a talent. She introduced herself as Lu Luo-chan, an instructor at Magic City Beast Taming University. She then asked whether he was manager Lu Yu. After receiving confirmation, she explained that Nianyan and Royun were both her students. She shared that they had spoken very highly of the pet beasts sold in his shop and claimed they were the most formidable pet beasts around. Yu modestly replied that he wouldn't go that far. She then asked him directly whether he was a breeder. Yu raised an eyebrow in curiosity. Then he answered that if she believed he was a breeder, then he supposed he was one. Although he didn't say it aloud, the system possessed not only a shop module, but also a breeding module. In the future, using the title of breeder would likely be beneficial to him. Meanwhile, Luo-chan was left speechless by his answer. She chose not to ask further questions. After all, breeding secrets were extremely valuable, and she knew he wouldn't casually reveal them to a stranger. She explained that she still hadn't contracted her fourth pet beast. She wanted to know whether he had any suitable pet beast cubs available. Yu immediately brightened up at the thought of another sale. He asked her about her requirements first. She explained that her talent was the A-rank Dragon Wings, which provided powerful boosts to dragon-type creatures. Because of that, she wanted a pet beast with dragon race bloodline. The moment Yu heard the words, dragon-type, he asked about her relationship with the Lu family. She hesitated for a moment before answering. She recalled her childhood. Back then, she was constantly scolded for possessing only an A-rank talent, despite being born into the Lu family bloodline. Among the three great dragon-taming families, the Gu family had produced an S-rank dragon tamer, while the Lu family had produced an unprecedented heir with dual S-rank talents. Compared to them, Luo-chan had always been treated like a disappointment. She coldly replied that buying a pet beast shouldn't require sharing that kind of personal information. Yu quickly realized that the major families didn't like outsiders discussing their internal affairs. He apologized and admitted that he currently didn't have any pet beasts with dragon-type bloodlines available, but he added that he did have dragons. Real dragons. Luo-chan frowned and asked how that was possible when the three great families had completely monopolized the giant dragon species. She assumed he was bluffing. Yu replied that his shop had always operated with integrity. Then he summoned his dragon and introduced her to the world-destroying demon dragon. He even claimed that ordinary giant dragon species were barely worthy of becoming its snack. She demanded to see it for herself. Yu then brought out a small jar that supposedly contained a true dragon. When he opened the jar, a fish appeared inside. Luo-chan was stunned. She asked where the promised true dragon was because all she saw was a carp that looked more suitable for dinner. She even suggested that he might have grabbed the wrong jar. Yu calmly replied that he hadn't made a mistake. She argued that what he had was nothing more than a red carp, the kind sold in markets for a few dollars a pound. Yu then asked whether she had ever heard of a fish leaping over the Dragon Gate. She immediately understood the reference. She explained that it was the greatest opportunity for dragonkin. Whether it was a loach or a carp, any creature that successfully crossed the Dragon Gate could transform into a true dragon. Her explanation was flawless, exactly as expected from a teacher at Magic City Beast Taming University. Still, she sighed and pointed out that it was only a legend. The Dragon Gate itself had supposedly vanished over 100,000 years ago. Yu then revealed that this red carp could construct the ancient Dragon Gate on its own. Luo-chan found the claim completely absurd. Yu casually put the jar away and said that he wouldn't force her to buy it. If she didn't believe him, she could simply look elsewhere. But Luo-chan immediately stopped him and declared that she wanted it. Yu handed her the jar. Then she formed a contract with the pet beast. The moment the contract was completed, she received its information. The pet beast was called the Brocade Carp and possessed the talent Leap the Dragon Gate, allowing it to absorb resources, cross the Dragon Gate, and obtain true dragon bloodline. Only then did she realize that everything Yu had said was true. She admitted that she had been too presumptuous earlier. As she bowed to apologize, the strap of her top suddenly snapped. Yu was caught completely off guard. He immediately turned his head away and awkwardly stated that he hadn't seen anything. She then asked Yu for one more favor. She wanted him to retrieve a set of spare clothes from her car. Yu immediately rushed outside. Because at that moment, he was already imagining himself being reported as a molester. He was relieved that he had run out so quickly. Otherwise, his imagination convinced him that she might have called the police and things would have become exactly as bad as he feared. He opened the trunk of her car and grabbed a bag. Then he hurried back inside. A short while later, Luo-chan thanked him for the help. Yu replied that it was nothing. Then he asked whether she had any ideas about how to nurture the brocade carp. She explained that her previous 3 contracted pet beasts all possessed metal, water, and wind attributes, and she wanted to try a completely different attribute for the brocade carp. After some thought, she decided to use a lightning-type crystal. She fed the crystal to the carp. It quickly reacted as the carp tried to absorb it. Then the dragon gate suddenly appeared. Only then did she realize that the ancient legend was actually real. The moment the world-destroying demon dragon saw the dragon gate, it let out a loud roar, but Yu immediately scolded it and told it to quiet down. Luo-chan became concerned when she saw the demon dragon react so strongly. She worried that she might have done something wrong. Yu reassured her that everything was fine and told her to focus on nurturing the carp. She tossed another crystal into the aquarium. Crackling lightning energy surged through the dragon gate. Yu observed it carefully and told her that the dragon gate had stabilized. Once the brocade carp successfully leaped through it, it would evolve. She immediately encouraged the brocade carp to go. The little fish blew a bubble, and then swam into it. The bubble carried it toward the dragon gate. But the overwhelming energy radiating from the gate suddenly caused it to stop. Luo-chan immediately grew nervous. She was afraid that the brocade carp might fail. Yu informed her that the dragon gate had been created by the brocade carp's talent. Since she had already contracted it, the carp now needed its master's support to complete the transformation. She immediately understood and activated her dragon wings talent to strengthen it. Yu realized that he had underestimated her. She began cheering for the brocade carp. The power surrounding the bubble instantly grew stronger, and the brocade carp's expression became much fiercer. She urged it to keep moving forward. Half of its body had already crossed the dragon gate, and before long it finally succeeded. Then Luo-chan suddenly noticed that her beast-taming talent was evolving. Yu explained that after contracting the brocade carp, their fates had become linked. Since the carp had successfully transformed into a dragon, her talent was naturally being elevated as well. She was stunned by the revelation. A pair of dragon wings suddenly appeared on her back. And the brocade carp evolved into a Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon. The Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon was now at Transcendent Rank Tier 6 and possessed Monarch Rank Tier 44 potential. Its talent remained Leaping the Dragon Gate. Luo-chan admitted that although the Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon was extremely powerful, it still wasn't a giant dragon species. Yu replied that he ran an honest business. He clarified that the Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon was indeed not a giant dragon species, but rather a flood dragon species. He explained that the dragon race was divided into many branches. For example, giant dragon species generally had lizard-like forms, while flood dragon species usually possessed snake-like bodies. He added that once the Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon evolved to the Overlord rank, it would become a true dragon species as well. Then he informed her that the brocade carp, along with the evolution opportunity he had provided, came to a total of 5 million. He asked whether she would be paying by card or cash. She immediately paid by card, and secretly planned to leave as fast as possible in case the shop manager suddenly changed his mind. Yu confirmed the payment and told her she was free to go. The world-destroying demon dragon suddenly let out a roar, and Yu immediately understood what it wanted. After witnessing the dragon gate, it also wanted to evolve. The world-destroying demon dragon explained that the dragon gate contained the essence and heritage of countless eastern and western dragons, accumulated over thousands of years. From it, the dragon had gained new insights and strength. It roared once again. Then the system notified Yu that the world-destroying demon dragon had successfully advanced to Starry Sky Rank Tier 1. It had awakened the talent Holy Dragon, and its skills had all been upgraded to the Red Star rank. Yu couldn't help but smile. He muttered that this was truly great news. That night, at a large estate, Luochen still felt as if everything had been a dream. She never expected that the pet shop where she bought a pet beast would also allow her to contract a pure-blooded dragon race creature. Suddenly, someone knocked on her door. She wondered who could be visiting so late. She was surprised to see her teacher standing outside. She immediately asked why he was there. The old man apologized and said that he hoped he wasn't interrupting her rest. She quickly denied it and invited him inside. Since it had been her first day teaching classes, the old teacher asked how everything had gone. She replied that it had been great and that she had discovered two remarkable geniuses. She hoped he would pay special attention to them in the future. Her answer immediately piqued his interest, and he asked her to tell him more. She explained that the students were two freshmen named Shen Nianian and Du Royun. Both had contracted special growth-type pet beasts, and she believed their futures were practically limitless. The old man was surprised when he heard about pet beasts possessing special growth-type talents. He stated that any beast tamer capable of contracting a pet beast with such a talent could one day become a provincial governor. With enough growth, they might even become pillars of the nation. Then Luo-chan revealed that she had also contracted a new pet beast from the same shop where those two students had purchased theirs. At first, it had only been a brocade carp that hadn't even reached awakening rank tier 1, yet after evolving, it had become a sovereign rank existence. The old teacher was utterly stunned. He immediately demanded to see it. She summoned the Crimson Lightning Flood Dragon. The dragon appeared before the old man. The moment he saw it, his eyes widened in shock. It was actually a flood dragon species. According to history, flood dragons had long since departed for the dragon realm. He never imagined that Luo-chan would one day be able to contract one. The old teacher asked for confirmation. He wanted to know if all of those extraordinarily talented pet beasts had truly come from the same pet beast shop. Luo-chan nodded and added that the prices were surprisingly low. In her opinion, the shop manager wasn't doing it for money. She suspected that he was carrying out some grand plan by nurturing future genius beast tamers throughout the world. The old teacher never expected to hear something like that. She then asked him whether he believed an SSS rank beast tamer could appear in their era. He replied that none had appeared so far. But according to ancient records, the beast-taming civilization of the previous era had been destroyed by an SSS rank powerhouse. And if such a genius appeared again, no one could predict whether it would become a blessing or a catastrophe. Luo-chan considered telling him about the shop manager's strength, but she hesitated. If her teacher regarded the shop manager as a threat to the country and tried to imprison him, the consequences could be unimaginable. Instead, she suggested sending trustworthy young beast tamers to purchase pet beasts from the mythical pet beast shop. She reasoned that it would not only help maintain a good relationship, but would also serve as a way to quietly investigate the shop. The old teacher nodded and agreed with her suggestion. The next day, at the shop, Yu was surprised to receive a reward simply for owning his first shop. The task had been incredibly easy for him, and with his current savings, he knew he had more than enough money to buy the property outright. He called Boss Jiang, the owner of the building he was renting, and offered to purchase the shop for 17 million. Boss Jiang immediately replied that the price was too low and invited him to come over so they could discuss it in person. Yu pointed out that he had already investigated the local market. Similar shops in the area sold for around 15 million at most, meaning his offer was already well above market value. Meanwhile, Boss Jiang had a completely different thought. Since the kid was willing to offer such a high price, it meant he desperately wanted the shop. That made Boss Jiang think he could squeeze even more money out of him. Boss Jiang told him to stop talking nonsense and wait until he arrived. After the call ended, Yu shook his head and muttered that the man was truly insatiable. Then, a few moments later, two young men entered the shop. The blonde-haired boy asked his silver-haired twin brother if this was really the pet shop their grandfather had mentioned. He found it hard to believe because the place looked far too shabby. The silver-haired boy replied that there might be a hidden expert living in the city. In his opinion, a true master wouldn't care much about appearances. Yu asked whether they needed anything. The blonde-haired boy said that they wanted to buy pet beast cubs and asked him to call the shop manager. Yu calmly replied that he was the shop manager. The blonde-haired boy couldn't help but blurt out that Yu looked way too young. He thought Yu was just a college student working part-time. The silver-haired boy immediately elbowed him and told him to talk less. The blonde-haired boy admitted that they were the grandsons of the principal of Beast Taming University. He explained that the talents they had awakened were considered difficult to develop. Yu listened quietly. The blonde-haired boy possessed the B-rank talent, Accelerated Growth, which could only speed up the growth of pet beasts. Meanwhile, the silver-haired boy proudly stated that his talent was better. He possessed the B-rank talent Reading Destruction, which granted contracted pet beasts the tier attack trait. You told them not to underestimate themselves. He explained that a beast tamer with accelerated growth was perfectly suited for nurturing swarm-type pet beasts. The blonde-haired boy immediately became interested. He said he had heard about swarm-type pet beasts before. Wherever a swarm passed, it could create a beast tide capable of sweeping away all enemies. You then turned toward the silver-haired boy and explained that his talent was best suited for a pet beast with explosive destructive power. The silver-haired boy nodded. He had already considered that possibility before, but he had never found a suitable pet beast. You placed 2 jars on the counter. He told them to come closer and take a look. The blonde-haired boy frowned because both jars appeared completely empty. The blonde-haired boy asked where the pet beast cubs were. He sounded disappointed because he had been hoping to see the pet beasts that could one day form a swarm army. The silver-haired boy also asked where the pet beast cubs were. You told them to look more carefully because the pet beast cubs were already inside the containers. The twins were confused. Then they finally spotted an ant. The blonde-haired boy complained that the creatures didn't look like exceptional pet beasts at all. The silver-haired boy, however, asked whether the ants possessed something special. You smiled and told them they were correct. He explained that both ants had awakened a special growth-type talent called Engrave. As long as they were provided with a complete evolutionary route, they could evolve directly toward whatever form that route allowed. He added that he had already engraved complete evolutionary routes into both of them and invited the twins to take a closer look. He handed them the evolution charts. The blonde-haired boy's eyes widened when he saw that his ant could eventually evolve into a brood mother. It would be capable of producing sovereign-rank troop units such as demon god ants, army-breaking ants, and sky ants. Meanwhile, the silver-haired boy became excited when he saw the future of his own pet beast. It could evolve into a heaven-rending ant, a terrifying creature capable of wielding power strong enough to tear the sky apart. The twins immediately thanked you. You told them that raising those 2 little guys properly would be the greatest repayment they could give him. Deep down, he knew that in the near future, the factions he was quietly creating would become forces capable of shaking the entire Blue Star. Suddenly, you received a phone call. It was Boss Jiang. Boss Jiang informed him that he had arrived outside and ordered you to come out and greet him. You calmly replied that he could simply walk into the shop himself. Boss Jiang immediately became annoyed and demanded that you personally come out to welcome him. He even subtly threatened him by asking whether he still wanted to buy the shop. You firmly repeated that Boss Jiang could walk inside on his own and that he would not repeat himself again. Boss Jiang sneered and revealed that he had already investigated you. He stated that you was nothing more than a student who had failed the college entrance exam and wasn't even a beast tamer. Then he stormed into the shop and immediately demanded a fixed price of 30 million for the property. The blonde-haired boy immediately got angry. He called Boss Jiang a greedy fat pig who had gone crazy for money. He pointed out that the shop was worth at most 15 million. Boss Jiang snorted and replied that it was his shop so he could set whatever price he wanted, and if they couldn't afford it, they should just get lost. The blonde-haired boy asked who Boss Jiang thought he was to speak so arrogantly. The twins then told you to leave the matter to them. There was no need for him to dirty his hands dealing with small fry. You calmly reminded them not to disturb the neighbors. The twins immediately called for Uncle Chen. Boss Jiang remained completely unaware of the muscular bodyguard standing right behind him. He continued boasting about how he was a trained fighter and wasn't afraid of anyone. Then Uncle Chen suddenly grabbed the back of Boss Jiang's clothes and asked whether he was the one who had been disrespecting their young masters. Uncle Chen asked the young masters how they wanted to deal with Boss Jiang. The silver-haired young master calmly instructed him to teach the man a lesson he would never forget. Chen immediately replied that he understood. Boss Jiang panicked and demanded that they let him go. He asked whether they even knew who was backing him. The blonde-haired boy asked if he had ever heard of the Duan family. Boss Jiang's face instantly turned pale. Of course he knew the Duan family. They were one of the most powerful families in Xia country and were famous for their ability to summon rain. The blonde-haired boy grinned and confirmed that he was thinking of the right family. The silver-haired boy then told Chen to take the man away. Boss Jiang immediately began begging for mercy and repeatedly admitted that he was wrong. The silver-haired boy then suggested to you that if he still wanted to buy the shop, he should leave the matter to them. You agreed. Later that day, you received a message. The sender was the silver-haired boy, Duan Shiwu. Shiwu informed him that Boss Jiang had agreed to transfer ownership of the shop free of charge. Attached to the message was the completed transfer contract. The system immediately acknowledged that Yu had unlocked a new achievement. He had officially become the owner of his first true pet beast shop. As a reward, the system granted him a resource known as the Realm Crystal Core. The Realm Crystal Core was considered one of the highest level resources on Blue Star. Once merged with a beast tamer's internal space, it could create a rudimentary world. A beast tamer who possessed a rudimentary world within their beast taming space was practically a demigod among beast tamers. The system instructed the host to begin refining the Realm Crystal Core and use it to expand his space. A vast space instantly began forming around him. Yu was completely amazed. He could clearly feel that his beast taming space was overflowing with immense and mysterious energy. He successfully advanced to the rudimentary world stage. The world-destroying demon dragon let out a thunderous roar. Then, with it, our MC's pet had broken through to Starry Sky rank Tier 3. The Purple Flame Emperor bird had also broken through to Starry Sky rank Tier 2. The system congratulated the host. The world-destroying demon dragon had comprehended the Red Star rank skill, Dragon Realm Projection, while the Purple Flame Emperor bird had comprehended the Red Star rank skill, Heavenly Flame Pilgrimage. The system displayed the details of Dragon Realm Projection. It was a Red Star rank skill capable of summoning a phantom of the Dragon Realm to suppress enemies. The deeper the user's understanding of dragon origin, the stronger the Dragon Realm Projection would become. If the user fully comprehended dragon origin, they could even govern the entire Dragon Realm. Yu couldn't help but marvel at how powerful the skill was. If this was already the strength of a Red Star rank skill, he couldn't imagine how terrifying the world-destroying demon dragon would become in the future. He then shifted his attention to the Purple Flame Emperor bird's new skill. It was called Heavenly Flame Pilgrimage, a Red Star rank skill that could summon endless heavenly purple flames from the sky and rain them down upon the battlefield. The destructive power of those flames was comparable to legendary forbidden spells. It was definitely not a skill to be underestimated. Suddenly, the surroundings changed. The two pet beasts and Yu found themselves back inside the shop. Yu frowned in annoyance and demanded to know who was there. An old man had entered the shop. It was Duan Xianggu. Yu immediately recalled his pet beasts before asking the principal what had brought him there. Since Duan Xianggu had previously sent his grandsons to buy pet beasts, Yu knew he was a friend rather than an enemy. Still, he wondered what the old man truly wanted. Meanwhile, Principal Duan observed Yu carefully. The old man noticed that Yu's eyes contained boundless, demonic intent. Something even more terrifying than the demon kings he had encountered throughout his life. Yet Yu's outward demeanor was gentle and calm. He didn't look like a demon at all. This only reinforced Duan Xiangguo's belief that Yu was a truly unfathomable expert. He knew that a person of this caliber had to be brought to Xia country's side no matter what. Principal Duan explained that he had come to discuss an important matter. Yu casually asked whether he was also interested in buying a pet beast cub. Principal Duan shook his head. He explained that after years of intense battles, his beast-taming space had become partially shattered. The damage was irreversible, making it impossible for him to contract another pet beast. Yu looked at him strangely and asked who had told him that a shattered beast-taming space made it impossible to contract pet beasts. Principal Duan pointed out that even the Universal Truths section of high school textbooks clearly stated that fact. Then he stared at Yu and asked whether he actually had a solution. Aij replied that there was a solution. After all, it was only a shattered beast-taming space. He pulled out an item and handed it to Principal Duan. The principal's eyes widened in shock. Yu explained that it was a seed from one of the lowest-level plant-type pet beasts, the lush tree. However, this seed had awakened the special growth-type talent known as engrave, allowing it to engrave any evolutionary root contained within its bloodline. He then showed Principal Duan the customized evolution path he had prepared. Principal Duan was stunned when he saw it. The lush tree could first evolve into a floating tree, then into a boundless tree, and eventually into a void-suppressing giant tree. Yu explained that once it evolved into a void-suppressing giant tree, it would be capable of repairing a shattered beast-taming space. All of Principal Duan's worries would disappear. Principal Duan sighed and said that he appreciated Yu's kindness, but there was no need. He explained that he had no intention of contracting another pet beast. Yu hadn't expected that answer. He immediately asked why. Deep down, he was feeling frustrated. He had already spent points to redeem the lush tree, and had personally engraved a custom evolutionary route into it. He genuinely wanted to know why Principal Duan would refuse. Principal Duan explained that over the past several decades, he had personally sent 9 pet beasts into the most dangerous battlefields one after another. Whenever Xia Country and his pet beasts stood on opposite sides of a choice, he always chose Xia Country. Because of that, he felt that the pet beast contract itself was cruel. He continued by saying that a seed with such extraordinary potential deserved a younger beast tamer who could fully nurture it. If anyone else had spent this long refusing, you would have thrown them out already. But he couldn't bring himself to say those words to Principal Duan. After all, Principal Duan had sacrificed far too much for the strength and safety of Xia Country. Decades ago, the passages to the myriad worlds opened. Among the 6 great nations, Xia Country possessed the weakest overall strength and bore the greatest pressure from the invasion. At the brink of destruction, countless pet beasts fought on the battlefield against the alien races to defend their homeland. The first defensive line fell after only 3 years. The second defensive line lasted less than 2 years. The third defensive line survived for less than a year. And the fourth defensive line held out for less than half a year. At the most critical moment in Xia Country's history, every beast tamer stepped onto the battlefield and fought with everything they had against the alien races. As Xia Country's highest-ranking general, Duan Xianggo carried an even greater responsibility than anyone else. Over those years, he contracted 10 sovereign-rank pet beasts. 9 of them died on the battlefield against the alien races. The forced severing of 9 beast-taming contracts left his beast-taming space shattered beyond recognition. You understood the truth. It wasn't that Principal Duan couldn't contract another pet beast. Rather, any pet beast he contracted would be unable to survive inside a shattered beast-taming space. Even his final pet beast had been stationed at Magic City Beast Taming University and had not returned to his beast-taming space for decades. Faced with an old man who had sacrificed so much, you couldn't bear to see him remain trapped in regret. He told Principal Duan not to blame himself. The pressure on the front lines back then had simply been too overwhelming. He had never been given another choice. Principal Duan let out a long sigh. He said that the battlefield against the alien races was a place where death was almost guaranteed. The only reason he stood there today was because he had been lucky enough to survive. Meanwhile, the names of those who had truly sacrificed themselves had long been forgotten by the world. You pointed out that Principal Duan's regret came from one simple reason. Principal Duan asked what that reason was. You answered that the real source of his regret was that he wasn't strong enough. He explained that if Principal Duan had possessed enough strength to make all the alien races of the myriad worlds tremble in fear, then Xia Country would never have needed to make those sacrifices in the first place. Principal Duan fell silent as he thought about Yu's words. Despite possessing only an A-rank beast-taming talent, he had already reached sovereign rank tier 10. He had long believed that he had exhausted every bit of his potential and that advancing any further was impossible. Yu told Principal Duan that once his beast-taming space contained a void-suppressing giant tree, breaking through realms would become far easier. He explained that the tree could continuously extract spatial power from the void and use it to expand the beast-taming space. And when that day came, he would finally have the power to protect everyone he wanted to protect. Principal Duan admitted that he was already old and could no longer see the future as clearly as someone like you. Since that was the case, he told Yu to name a price, and he would buy the lush tree seed. Yu sold it to him for 3 million. The system immediately congratulated the host for unlocking a new achievement. He had successfully sold 10 pet beast cubs. The system then announced another reward. The host had randomly obtained the SSS rank beast taming talent, Divine Source of Life. With the Divine Source of Life, diseases, poisons, injuries, and even death itself could be resisted or eliminated. It was a supreme life-type talent. Principal Duan stated that he would follow Yu's instructions. He planned to first evolve the seed into a void-suppressing giant tree before forming a contract with it. He carefully placed the seed on the counter. Then he took out a crystal and fed it to the seed to begin its evolution. A dazzling green light instantly burst forth from the seed. Inside the beast taming space, Yu and Principal Duan watched as the seed continued to glow. The green light spread throughout the space, and countless vines began to emerge. Both of them were stunned when they saw the final result. The seed had evolved into a void-suppressing giant tree with sovereign rank tier 10 potential. Principal Duan was amazed by how quickly it had completed its evolution. Without hesitation, he formed a contract with it. The giant tree's vines immediately grew stronger and stretched across the beast-taming space. They wrapped around the scattered floating islands and pulled them together, one by one, binding them into a single whole. Principal Duan stared in disbelief. His shattered beast-taming space was truly being repaired. Yu smiled and congratulated him. Since the contract had been completed, he figured it was time for him to leave. But Principal Duan stopped him. He asked whether there was anything else. Principal Duan then asked if Yu had any interest in joining Magic City Beast Taming University. Our boy found the question amusing. Just 2 months ago, he had been a student who failed his entrance exams. And now, the principal of Magic City Beast Taming University was personally inviting him to join. Although it was a prestigious school, Yu declined. He explained that the mythical pet beast shop was already on the right track. Becoming a student now would only interfere with his future plans. Principal Duan shook his head and pointed out that Yu had misunderstood. He wasn't inviting him to enroll as a student. He wanted Yu to become a professor. However, obtaining the title of professor required several review procedures. Therefore, he suggested that Yu start as a tutor first. Yu was shocked. As far as he knew, only sovereign rank beast tamers were qualified to hold such a position. Principal Duan replied that if Manager Lu wasn't satisfied with that arrangement, he could discuss it with the other faculty members and free up a vice principal position for him. He even joked that he could simply retire and leave the principal position vacant for Yu. Yu seriously considered the offer. He had to admit that he was tempted. At the same time, he understood the risks involved. But when he thought about becoming a professor, another thought crossed his mind. With a title like that, he would never have to worry about selling pet beast cubs again. So, Yu accepted the offer. However, he had one condition. His teaching schedule could not interfere with the operation of his pet beast shop. Principal Duan immediately agreed and said that wouldn't be a problem at all. He further explained that once Yu officially obtained the title of full professor, he would become eligible to apply for state-funded scientific research quotas. That immediately caught Yu's attention, because a single scientific research quota could be worth hundreds of millions, or even billions. On top of that, there would be salary payments, performance bonuses, dividends, and other benefits that could easily push his monthly income into the tens of millions. And that wasn't all. Magic City Beast Taming University also possessed a massive library containing countless skill manuals. In addition, it had several unique secret realms available only to the university. Our MC couldn't help but exclaim that the offer was simply too good. Just 2 months ago, he had failed the college entrance examination and couldn't even get into a university. Yet now, he had somehow become a tutor at one of the top beast-taming universities in the country. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that fate truly worked in mysterious ways. Later that night, at Magic City Beast Taming University. That night, Luo-chan found herself wondering how the meeting between Principal Duan and Yu had gone. Then she suddenly noticed something. It was the light of evolution. Ziwu immediately asked his golden-haired brother what he was doing. The blonde-haired boy replied that he was fusing his talent origin with the Ant Queen. By doing so, both he and the Ant Queen would experience greatly accelerated growth. Ziwu frowned with concern. He warned his brother that if he chose that path, he would never be able to contract another pet beast in the future. If the Ant Queen died, he would lose everything and cease to be a beast tamer. But the blonde-haired boy didn't care. He had already made up his mind. Luo-chan watched the scene unfold. She never expected that Dongwen, who usually seemed a little slow and carefree, would possess such incredible determination. Someone nearby couldn't help but exclaim that Dongwen truly deserved to be called Duan Xiangguo's grandson. Just then, Luo-chan noticed Principal Duan approaching. She quickly reminded him to move carefully. Principal Duan laughed and replied that he was doing better than ever thanks to Yu. She was stunned when she heard that. Principal Duan's beast-taming space had actually recovered. He then asked her to guess how Yu had accomplished it. Luo-chan thought for a moment and guessed that Yu must have used a rare high-level resource capable of repairing beast-taming spaces. Principal Duan shook his head and told her she was wrong. Instead, Yu had helped him contract a tree. He summoned it. Then he explained that it was a void-suppressing giant tree. Not only had it repaired his shattered beast-taming space, but given enough time, he believed he could even return to his peak condition. Everyone was shocked by the revelation. Principal Duan then waved his hand and told them not to worry about him anymore. He pointed out that a sovereign-rank beast tamer possessed a lifespan of 500 years, and he still had another 300 years ahead of him. Luo-chan smiled in relief after hearing that. Then Principal Duan revealed another piece of news. He informed her that he had invited Yu to become a tutor at Magic City Beast Taming University. That meant she and Yu would soon become colleagues. Luo-chan was genuinely happy to hear that. Meanwhile, Dongwon and Siwoo immediately expressed their desire to attend Yu's classes. They couldn't wait to see what kind of lessons a person like him would teach. Back to our MC, Yu entered his beast space. He possessed 3 SSS rank beast taming talents. Normally, he could only use them to draw out origin power and feed his pet beasts, which was undoubtedly a huge waste. He decided to take inspiration from dragon tamers and directly fuse his beast taming talents with the corresponding pet beasts. For example, he could completely fuse the world-destroying demon dragon with the Dark Hell and turn it into the true king of the Dark Hell. Or use the purple flame emperor bird to fuse with the god-slaying heavenly fire, so the emperor bird will also step-by-step wield god-slaying power. However, his third talent still didn't have a pet beast to fuse with, so he figured it was finally time to contract a new pet beast. He glanced at the screen and saw that he now had 1,200 points. He was thrilled because it meant he could redeem a cub even more outstanding than the demon dragon and emperor bird. After some thought, he decided to choose a plant-type beast. Not only was it more compatible with his life origin talent, but it could also help stabilize his beast taming space. The system displayed the plant-type beast he could redeem with 1,200 points. There was the Elf Mother Tree, Sacred Star Tree, Giant Tree of War, and Ancient Tree of Life. He read that the Elf Mother Tree was a Tier 3 Holy Spirit rank beast. Upon reaching adulthood, it would become the progenitor tree of the elf race. By consuming certain resources, it could even create an entire elven tribe. However, the elf race had already declined, so creating them wasn't very cost-effective. Next, he looked at the Sacred Star Tree. It was also a Tier 3 Holy Spirit rank beast. Once mature, it could gradually restore and revive a planet, and even raise the planet's overall status. Unfortunately, it didn't have much to do with him. Then there was the Giant Tree of War. It could create large numbers of war demon trees and plant war beasts, feeding on the chaos of war itself. It sounded far too evil, so he immediately decided it didn't suit an upright gentleman like himself. Lastly, there was the Ancient Tree of Life, a beast naturally compatible with his Law of Life talent. He read that wherever the Ancient Tree of Life existed, death would stay away, and everything would overflow with vitality. It matched his third talent perfectly, so he chose it without hesitation. The system notified him that he had successfully redeemed the Ancient Tree of Life cub for 1,200 points. Just like that, all of his points were gone. As expected of the Ancient Tree of Life, even its seed carried an incredibly rich aura of life. He immediately checked its details. The Ancient Tree of Life was a life-type, plant-type beast at Tier 1 Awakening rank with the potential to reach Tier 3 Holy Spirit rank. Its status was healthy and uncontracted. He read that as long as it consumed certain resources, it could breed familiars whose potential level would not exceed that of the Ancient Tree of Life. At that moment, he realized he could practically create an army out of thin air. He checked its skills, and the first one was Plant Growth, which could help all plants grow rapidly. He thought about how silver rank and gold rank spirit fruits in the trading house could sell for hundreds or even thousands, while diamond rank ones couldn't be bought without spending tens of millions. And now he could rely on this skill to magically ripen all kinds of spirit fruits. Just thinking about it made him excited. The second skill was Life Domain. It could create a domain filled with life aura, and any injuries within the domain would gradually heal. He found this skill extremely useful as well. The third skill was Projection, which allowed the Phantom of the Ancient Tree of Life to possess combat power, even outside his beast-taming space. The last skill was Star-Slaying Grass. It immediately caught his attention, but he had no idea what its effects were. The screen displayed its description. It could cultivate a companion plant called Star-Slaying Grass. Given enough time, it could sever the sun, moon, and stars. As expected of a pet beast redeemed for 1,200 points, it was unbelievably powerful. Not only did it start with 4 skills, but it could also provide support, damage output, and resource production all at the same time. Without hesitation, he contracted it. The seed immediately shone with a brilliant light. Then it sprouted, and transformed into a large, lush tree bursting with vitality. Suddenly, his body felt strange. It hadn't been long since he broke through to Tier 10 Starry Sky rank, yet now he was already on the verge of another breakthrough. Just then, someone suddenly called out to him. A girl was sitting on the tree, and she addressed him as Master. She had gentle eyes, silver hair, and an elegant, refined demeanor. He wondered if she was the projection created by the Ancient Tree of Life. The system displayed that she was an Ancient Tree clone. She possessed all the attributes of the Ancient Tree of Life, and could freely travel between the beast-taming space and the outside world. He asked if she was the ancient tree of life. She nodded and replied yes. Then she told him to call her An-Yu. He repeated her name. She told him to hold out his finger. The two hooked their pinkies together, and a green string suddenly connected them. He asked if it was some kind of special contract. She explained that it was called a wisp of aura. If he ever faced danger in the future, she could use this aura to resurrect him. He asked if she could truly bring him back to life, and she replied that she could. However, she wouldn't be able to restore his 3 SSS rank beast-taming talents, and if he were resurrected, he would most likely become an ordinary person. Yu immediately replied that if he couldn't be revived along with his 3 SSS rank beast-taming talents, then he'd rather not be resurrected at all. Still, after thinking about it, he decided to accept it as an extra layer of insurance. He told her to familiarize herself with her current powers. Tomorrow, he would prepare spirit plant seeds for her to ripen and cultivate. She happily agreed. Then he informed her that he would be leaving first, but she suddenly grabbed the hem of his shirt. She explained that she wanted her main body to remain inside the beast-taming space while her clone stayed in the outside world. Then, she asked if that was okay. He agreed. Since she could already merge with the beast-taming space, and with her abilities, she could freely enter and leave whenever she wanted. She immediately brightened up and exclaimed that it was wonderful. She explained that her living habits were different from his, so she had been worried that he might refuse. He asked what exactly she meant by that. Back in the real world, Yu went to sleep, but he was shocked when he discovered An-Yu hiding underneath his blanket. Then she immediately clung to him. At that moment, he finally understood what she had meant earlier. She explained that she had remained in the form of a seed for tens of millions of years, completely alone. She admitted that she was truly lonely. She promised that she wouldn't run around recklessly and begged him not to drive her away. Yu gently patted her head and assured her that he would never drive her away. He promised that from this day forward, she would never be lonely again. Those words instantly made her happy. The next day, while they slept, An-Yu had wrapped herself around him so tightly that he could barely breathe. In the end, he was forced awake because he simply couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed her shoulders and tried to wake her up, but she remained fast asleep. Not until he lifted her up and left her dangling in the air. Then he carried her over and dropped her onto the sofa. He immediately scolded her. She had nearly suffocated him to death after promising that she wouldn't move around recklessly. She quickly explained that she had hugged him without realizing it, then apologized. She begged him not to be angry and promised that she wouldn't do it again. He clarified that he wasn't angry. Then he told her that they would head into the beast space first and check on the growth of the ancient tree of life. That instantly made her excited. Deep down, he felt less like he was raising a plant-type pet beast and more like he was raising a daughter, back inside the space. Several silver plants had already sprouted in front of the tree. He quickly realized that An-Yu had already produced 10 stalks of star-slaying grass and cultivated every one of them to Tier 10 Transcendent rank. If the ancient tree of life advanced to a higher rank, those stalks of star-slaying grass would break through along with it. At that moment, he realized that saying it lacked combat power was completely wrong. Its companion plant, star-slaying grass, alone, possessed terrifying power beyond imagination. Even the demon dragon and emperor bird wouldn't dare claim they could defeat it with absolute certainty. The stalks suddenly grew taller. They barely had any leaves, and instead possessed twisted, eerie branches. Yu was delighted when he saw the 1,000-star vine, a plant capable of binding all things. And Yu informed him that with her current realm, she could nurture at most platinum-rank spirit seeds. If she wanted to cultivate higher-level seeds, it would require a much longer time. She added that it wasn't really a problem since he could simply purchase platinum rank, diamond rank, amethyst rank, and red star rank seeds directly. He agreed. There was no point in consuming their own foundation for something that money could easily solve. After they finished checking everything, he told her that they should go out for a stroll and solve the seed problem. Yu and An-Yu strolled through the city. Just as he expected from Magic City, all kinds of goods were being sold everywhere. And Yu was overwhelmed by the huge crowds. Yu told her to stay close to him so she wouldn't get lost. Soon, they entered a spirit plant specialty store. He noticed that the seeds were surprisingly cheap, yet the cultivated seedlings sold for millions or even tens of millions. The difference was enormous. After all, spirit plants were extremely difficult to cultivate, and their survival rate was very low. However, with the ancient tree of life's abilities, he didn't need to worry about survival rates at all. He told the shopkeeper that he wanted to buy 1,000 seeds each of extreme dark grass, dark spirit fruit, scarlet flame flower, and white spark. In addition, he also wanted 100 seeds each of the hell tree and purgatory tree. The shopkeeper's face immediately lit up with a huge grin as he asked the customer to wait a moment. After preparing everything, he informed you that the total came to 32.1 million, but he would round it down to 32 million. You then mentioned that tutors from Magic City University were eligible for discounts. The shopkeeper confirmed that they were and asked for his ID card so the trading firm's system could verify his discount quota. You handed over his ID card. The shopkeeper entered it into the system. A moment later, his eyes widened in shock when he discovered that you qualified for a 50% discount. He couldn't help but ask if you was a full professor at Magic City University. He found it hard to believe because you looked so young. The shopkeeper immediately praised him as a young genius, and you proudly declared that her master was the most amazing. You handed over his credit card. Internally, he hadn't expected Principal Duan to arrange the benefits of a full professor for him so quickly. At that moment, Yu informed him that she had sensed a rare amethyst rank spirit plant seed. That immediately caught his attention. She quickly walked toward the shelf where she sensed it, and soon found it. She pointed at the seeds and asked the shopkeeper how much those 5 seeds cost. The shopkeeper admitted that he had originally planned to throw those seeds away. He asked Yu if she was certain she wanted to buy them. Yu nodded without hesitation. In the shopkeeper's eyes, even though those seeds belonged to the amethyst rank space-type spirit plant, the deep space fruit tree, they had already completely withered. He had simply planned to discard them. After thinking about it for a moment, he decided to give them to her for free. And Yu immediately thanked him. Yu was delighted. Those 5 seeds were comparable to a diamond rank resource, yet he had obtained them without spending a single cent. They returned to the beast-taming space. Yu planted all the seeds. The spirit flowers immediately bloomed. With the help of the ancient Tree of Life's cultivation abilities, it wouldn't take long before those spirit plants matured and became ready for harvest. And once harvest time arrived, Yu would gain another steady way to earn money. More importantly, he would no longer need to worry about the resources required to nurture the world-destroying demon dragon and purple flame emperor bird. Suddenly, he sensed someone's presence. He was surprised to discover that a customer had arrived. Back at the shop, a gloomy-looking young man stepped inside. He had finally awakened a beast-taming talent and felt relieved. If he found a pet beast he truly liked, he wouldn't hesitate to buy it, even if it meant selling his house back in his hometown. Yu immediately stepped forward and warmly welcomed the customer. The customer looked at him and asked if he was the owner of the shop. Yakta replied yes and asked the customer what he needed. The customer explained that he had awakened the C-rank beast-taming talent, Spirit Art, and wanted to contract a plant-type or life-type pet beast cub. Yu immediately replied that he had exactly what the customer was looking for. That instantly made the customer happy. Yu then showed him a leaf inside a jar. The customer's expression immediately darkened with anger. He complained that it was nothing more than an ordinary willow tree seedling. He questioned how such a thing could possibly be considered a plant-type pet beast. Yu calmly explained that the seedling had awakened a special growth-type talent called blood refinement. It could refine the blood of different creatures, extract their genes, and gradually explore the most perfect evolutionary path. The customer argued that he had never even heard of a special growth-type talent before. Yu couldn't be bothered to explain further. He simply informed the customer that the willow tree seedling was priced at 3 million and told him to leave if he wasn't interested in buying it. The customer immediately accused the shop of being a scam and threatened to report him to the Beast Tamer Association. Just then, the world-destroying demon dragon suddenly jumped out and let out a fierce roar. The customer shouted that intimidation wouldn't work on him. Then he turned around and ran straight out the door. You could only mutter that the man didn't know how valuable the item truly was. He just hoped the seedling wouldn't end up rotting in his hands. The system sale period only lasted for 1 week. He planted the seedling in a flower pot. Then he took out a bottle of red liquid. If no buyer showed up within the next few days, he would have to ask Principal Duan or Tianyan for help. After all, he firmly believed that this little sapling would achieve extraordinary things in the future. At the Beast Taming Association building, the customer from earlier stormed in and declared that he wanted to file a report against a shop. The staff member asked who he wanted to report. He explained that he wanted to report a scam shop. In his eyes, it was a scam because its prices didn't match the standards set by the association, and the shop owner had been extremely rude. The staff handed him a form and suggested that he wait in the reception area while they processed the report. The man swore that he would make that scam shop shut down for good. Inside the supervisor's office, a staff member entered the room. She informed her supervisor that someone had filed a report. However, she seemed concerned when she mentioned the name of the shop. Luo Yan, the supervisor of the Magic City Beast Tamare Association, accepted the document. His eyes widened slightly when he saw the name, Mythical Pet Beast Shop. Just yesterday, Principal Duan had personally visited and urged the association to take good care of that shop. He quickly realized that Principal Duan had been talking about this exact shop. The principal had even described it as the highest quality pet beast shop in all of Magic City, and specifically requested the association to look after it. Luo Yan immediately wondered which blind fool had come to cause trouble for it. Without wasting any time, he went to meet the complainant. The man was surprised when he saw the supervisor personally appear before him. Luo Yan asked if he was the one who had reported the mythical pet beast shop. The man confidently replied yes and urged them to process the complaint quickly. Otherwise, he claimed, a scam shop like that would pollute the entire market. Luo Yan calmly explained that he had already investigated the matter. The pet beasts sold by the shop were raised under excellent conditions, and the shop's reputation was outstanding. He even pointed out that Principal Duan of Beast Taming University had spoken highly of it. He then stated that the man was making false accusations against the shop. The man's face instantly froze. Realizing he had kicked an iron plate, he hurriedly admitted his mistake and expressed his desire to withdraw the report. However, Luo Yan informed him that according to association rules, falsely accusing others could result in a 3-day detention. Since this was his first offense, he would be let off with a warning. But if it happened again, he would face severe punishment. The man's face turned pale, and he began trembling in fear. He repeatedly promised that he would never do it again. Then he immediately bolted toward the exit. Since the mythical pet beast shop had received such high praise from Principal Duan, and because his own son had recently awakened a beast-taming talent, Luo Yan felt that this was the perfect opportunity to pay the shop a visit himself. Alright, that's it for today's story. If you want the weekly chapter updates for this series, those will now be uploaded on my second channel, Manhwa Updater. So if you don't want to miss what happens next, make sure to check it out and join the update gang. Thanks for watching, stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.